All right, thanks for staying with us, or thanks for joining us again. I am Chukwuma Okoro. This is Newspaper Review, and I have here with me.
I'm Fina Okechukwu. Good to have you again.
Okay, we succeeded in returning Mr. Akefatuke. He's going to be part of this Newspaper Review, and it's an opportunity for us to talk about all that we didn't talk about in the morning show. Good morning once again, sir, and thanks for staying back.
Good morning, Chukwuma.
All right, thank you very
good
much.
Morning
for being with us.
Sorry?
Okay.
Thank you so much for
being with us. Always.
Now, we have The Guardian here before us and other newspapers. Now, let's start from The Guardian with the big story. Despite 7 trillion naira subsidy savings, states failed to cushion hardship, hunger. That story is on page 6. We have 2 years post-fuel subsidy removal, and the infographics are here before us. FAC allocation 2022 was 8.209 trillion naira, 2023 10.143 trillion naira, and 2024 15.26 trillion naira. 7 trillion naira estimated saved in 2 years of subsidy removal. Okay, price per liter, 2023, 175 naira. In 2024, it jumped to 1,030 naira. And in 2025, it's 900 naira. Inflation rose from, in May 2023, inflation stood at 22.41%. By May 2024, it jumped to 23.95%. And in April 2025, 23.71% after the rebasing of the consumer price index. And exchange rate in 2023, May, stood at 460 naira per dollar. In May 2024, 1,533 naira per dollar. And in April 2025, 1,596 naira. That's the exchange rate. Fuel importation, 44.6 million liters per day in 2024. That's our daily consumption. And in 2025, 14.7 million liters per day. This information is coming from The Guardian newspaper. We'll have more stories. Military destroys over 100 illegal refinery sites in 5 months. That story is on page 8. Wokobia Adebayo blast APC's fear-driven strategy, urge Tinubu to govern. We can find that story on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. PDP postpones SNEC meeting amid uncertainty over action against Atiku Wike. That story is on page 6. And IPI inflates Eno. IPI flares Eno for removing Channels TV crew from Akwa Ibom government house. And that's all from The Guardian newspaper. We've been joined by Mr. Dele Fanimore, who is a seasoned reporter and VOP in-house analyst. Good morning, Dele, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Chukwuma, and my dear Igbo.
Okay.
And my lovely sister. You look more beautiful today, like an African woman.
I'm an African.
Oh, good.
Yes.
The African queen.
Queen, yes. She deserves to be called a queen.
All right, Fina, let's take one online newspaper before we get into the analysis.
All right, and that will be the Daily Sun newspaper. Beside the masthead today, on the cover page of the Daily Sun newspaper, the story there reads, PDP Wike pulls out of peace deal, vows to continue fight for justice within party. Food security threatened as terrorists kill over 900 farmers, displace thousands. Right after that, farms now war zones. We can't cultivate optimally. That's coming from Afan. We moved in droves to be less vulnerable to assault. Women farmers. FG pledged safety, food sufficiency. And the banner headline on the cover page of the Daily Sun newspaper today reads 2027, Atiku Obi yet to seal pact, continue negotiation. Leaders fear pro-government elements have infiltrated coalition efforts. FG deploys technology in boundary management, says NBC making progress in resolving Nigeria-Benin boundary dispute. IPOB insists on May 30 sit at home, says day, not celebration of Igbo Day. That story is on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Fate of Nigerian medical students from Sudan hangs in balance. The last but not the least of the headlines on the cover page of the Daily Sun newspaper today reads: Enugu Reps Caucus scores Governor Mbah's midterm performance high. Those are the stories that you find on the cover page of the Daily Sun newspaper today.
There are other stories that I missed in the Guardian newspaper, so let's go back to it. Federal government unveils air cargo corridor, offers Nigerian exporters 50% discount. That's on page 23 of the Guardian newspaper. 71% of rescheduled UTME candidates score below 200, says JAMB. And not holds key to solving Nigeria's problem. That's coming from Peter Obi. And that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. All right, let's get into the discussion itself. Let's start from the Guardian's headline. The major story there. Despite 7 trillion subsidy savings, states fail to cushion hardship, hunger. Let's take a peek into that story and see what they are talking about. Now, 2 years after President Bola Tinubu's made, small businesses already struggling with erratic power and policy instability have been further squeezed, forcing many to downsize or close, thereby worsening unemployment. And the Guardian had earlier reported that some Nigerian states receive higher allocations from FAC, but struggle to translate these increases into meaningful development for their citizens. This is due to various factors, including inefficient revenue management, inadequate internal revenue generation, and heavy reliance on FAC allocations. And there's a lot to that. I think, with the riders, poorly implemented interventions pushing Nigerians into poverty. That's from NES, Nigerian Economic Society. Subsidy removal brings gains, but states failing to deliver. Niger Delta CDC. Stakeholders blame NMDPRA, FCCPC for sharp practices, consumer plight. NMDPRA begins payment of outstanding 100 billion naira subsidy to Ipman. I'll take that again for emphasis. NMDPRA begins payment of outstanding 100 billion naira subsidy to Ipman. MDA is not compliant with Tinubu's order on CNG vehicles, says Ajayi. Gentlemen, despite 7 trillion subsidy savings, states failed to cushion hardship, hunger. Mr. Fanimo.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
And I think I've said it several times here, that unfortunately for us in this country, we focus more on the federal government, leaving the states as a free ranger. The president said in his last year national address that the allocation to states has almost tripled. Nasarawa state governor confirmed it, and one other governor in the north also confirmed it. Now, if you have about 200 allocation rise, and we have not seen 30% infrastructural development in your state, we have not seen better life in your state, must we now hold the governor at the center for that? I tell you, if there is anything that I want to say here, I want to refer to my state, Ondo State, and Oyo State. I happen to come from Ondo State, but my family is in Oyo State. I have seen so many strides in Oyo State that I can't find anything to compare between my state and Oyo State in the last 2 years. I keep asking myself, you can't point to, if President Tinubu decides to come to Ondo State, my state today, he cannot commission anything.
How about the Golden Gate?
Have they built any gates? No. I was in Akure about, and incidentally, I'm from the state capital. So if anything is not happening in the state capital, where else will it happen?
Maybe he's concentrating in the hinterland.
There is nothing, I can tell you that. There is nothing of value compared to this money that this man is getting. Apart from that, Oyo State is not getting 13% derivation. My state gets 13% derivation. In terms of IGR, my state is eminently qualified to generate more IGR than Oyo State because it's a not producing state. Now, allocation from federal allocation today between Oyo State and Ondo State, when you even remove VAT and 13% derivation, is almost at par. So why would Oyo State? There are some. In fact, Oyo State government is also even venturing into ordinary. I mean, things that are ordinarily should be the responsibility of the state and federal government. It has just almost finished remodeling the airport to raise this to the standard of international airports. Yet, my own state governor, I've not seen anything that he has done. And so, we need to begin, as media, we need to begin to do peer review of these states. And in some states, some states, they have given up on their governors and the government there. Because they can't even imagine what he could do better than what he's doing. Whereas some states are making giant strides. I am told, I've never been to Enugu in the last 2-3 years, but I'm told that Enugu is also doing something. So why would Enugu do something and then Ebonyi is not doing anything? You see that infrastructure in Ebonyi State is bad and we don't have anything to improve on. So I know there are some roads that I can't even imagine that government will remember to go there, that they are now well paved, tarred, with very huge culverts that can sieve the water, that can deseal the water, that will make the road last. But I can't see it in my state. So we should begin to attack these state governors and ask them questions. Go to primary health center in Oyo State now. They are being equipped. I told a friend, a female friend, that I want you to go to primary health center that is close to me. I want to find out what is going on there. Because if I go there, I don't really need, because much of reproductive health and all these issues are what they do there. Do you know that she got, to her amazement, she got the right services in the primary health center that she used to go to state government hospital or sometimes UCH. That shows that this man is working. I am not from Oyo State and I don't have one state other than I have a building in Oyo State. But I can see what he's doing. But I'm ashamed of my state. And let's be realistic with ourselves. If the state governors, if they do much in their various states, there will be less attention to the federal government.
Okay, all right, Dele, thank you very much. I think few of the governors are doing very well.
That's what I'm saying.
You have mentioned Seyi Makinde. I have family in Enugu State too, and the report I get is that Peter Mba is doing extraordinarily beautiful things in Enugu State. You know, I come from Abia State. I understand that my state governor, Alex Oti, is also doing his best. And before Fubara was shoved out, I understand that he was doing well too. You know, so I think there are pockets of excellence here.
If you check
there,
the persons who are doing the excellent jobs, as the case may be, I guess they are first-timers. Most of them, majority of them are first-timers.
Makinde is a second-timer.
No, apart from him, Peter Mba, Alex Oti, Fubara, and some of the persons that we also mentioned, they are first-timers. In Kano State, they will tell you also that the man
Zulum
there
is a second-timer.
Yeah, Zulum is second-timer. Zulum is
crying.
He is crying now over the fact that he said that some politicians there are sabotaging his work.
So
and that's not about development.
Yeah. But now the thing is, why is it that the first-timers are the ones, trying to represent the interests of the persons better than the people who have been there before now?
No, you can't say that. Okay, like where we are here, Babajide is also doing well.
He's also doing well.
Best. I see changes in Lagos here and there. Like where I live, if you have to come to work, I have to pass through, make a
go
very
back to my two and face traffic and all that.
Then he built a bridge that connects about 7 small cities.
Of course.
So if I'm coming, I just need to cross do an interchange and I'm on the express.
How many minutes does it take for people to drive out from? And I was opportune to move around somewhere in Festac and some time ago, and I was asking myself, how do people around this place navigate? How do people here live? How do they drive out their cars and all that? And someone told me something to say that they are waiting for the government to look into that.
That's exactly the point.
Some roads within
it's a free conversation.
Everyone's a Lagosian, so you're in a better position to explain Lagos.
I am happy that you brought this angle.
Yeah.
At what level should we expect local government chairmen to do what they are supposed to do?
Exactly.
The inland roads, inland roads in Festac, should it be the concern of the governor?
Local government exists on paper.
Okay, should it be?
So we should not
Yes.
account that to be
Should
one
it
of the
be?
things that the government have done for Nigerians at
You
this
know,
point in time.
The money
Because
when
I
local
don't
government
government
from
comes to
zeros.
states, and the state governor decides how to spend it.
And Sierra
Should he?
sued CBN
Should he?
to say, tell
That's
us
why
how
we are
much
talking
you
about
reckon
the
you
That's
autonomy.
what we're talking about, autonomy.
So, the chicken is
Has
coming
come
home
to
to roost.
roost.
Not only is it the chicken that's come home to roost, I believe I do not want to poke hand into the media per se. But you made a statement just now that our focus should also be to peer reviews.
Yeah.
Peer reviews. And what I hear from media, we are hungry, we are angry, and all that directed at the federal government. And before we came onto these discussions, we were also having discussions that, bordered on critical questions, which I hear all the time, that the APC government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, in fact, what I hear is he has not done anything, which is not true. And like you said, Dele, I think the first level, the first leg is, if you want to do anything, do you have the money to do it? If you don't have the money to do it, how do you generate money? Either through IGR, like you have said, through some taxation, or through fair allocation, which for the very first time ever, which is an achievement. I am not saying that the way and manner that you said, fuel removed, fuel subsidy removed, and all that. But, on the credit side of that is more money are going to the state government. Until about 2-3 months, I'm waiting for another report. I hear that some state governors still have not been paid. I don't know how true that can be, because so many things I hear. Have not been paying the minimum wage and all that. So, the second-term governor of Nasarawa State, like you rightly said, he came out and said, I am not only getting more, I now have my thinking capacity to be able to generate, and I'm going into a lot of infrastructure development. Peter Mbai is PDP.
That man, that Nasarawa governor, is huge on agriculture.
Okay.
Does even security will let that happen also?
And
at
but
the
we don't
Kesman
get to
Village?
hear so much about insecurity in Nasarawa State.
We don't really get to have that.
But they are there.
There is
Insecurity is
insecurity.
festive everywhere.
Okay.
No, we are not saying that, but it's not
Like we
We
said,
have pockets here.
like
have
you
pockets
said,
of it happening
let's in economics say, let's just assume, let's put that down for now. Because as far as I'm concerned, and I've always said, insecurity is caused by the politicians because they are trying to grab power. I can say that for sure. And the fact that the little that we are doing, we are sabotaging our military. The locals are sabotaging their military. When you speak your language to them and all that kind of stuff,
Yes.
is the truth. So, and
Mr. Ake, I think you are right. I think you are right when you said that that the politicians support insecurity because they want to take power. Because that's exactly what they did in 2015.
From what
so nothing
what
has changed.
you said, I don't blame you. When you said that, it looks like first-time governors and all that. Oti was a first-time governor, either because, and with due respect to other governors, either because he understood better, or he had, or whatever it is, because if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the knowledge. And he started an attempt, even though one of our shows, you are telling me that the thing is not as I expect. But look, I don't have to have it as I expect, but he started something to try and bring light until it was circumvented by this so-called gas or no gas. Therefore, Dele, I agree with you absolutely. You are not unpatriotic, and I saw the venom. I saw the venom that you came, because you cannot understand why Ondo State will not be, and all that. Likewise, I'm from Ogun State. I know that yes, efforts are being made in Ogun State, but the average Ogun State person still says, I haven't seen development. Lagos is central, and we know about the centralization of Lagos in terms of so many things.
Okay.
But 7.5 trillion has been made, distributed all the time. Why can't we? Oh, Kebbi is another Kebbi is another state.
All right then.
They are
All
trying
right.
to do
Okay.
a lot of things in agriculture.
Yes.
And then you now then introduce the fact that yes, if I don't grab power, who is going to be at the center? And then, you know, you begin to
All
see.
right, thank you very
and
much,
it's one of the
Mr.
reasons
Fatuke.
why
It's,
Zulu is shaking today.
Thank you, Mr. Fatuke. It's a lot. We've been joined by Mr. Blessed Jato from Benin. Mr. Jato, thanks for joining us again on Municipal Review. It's a free conversation. Please chime in anytime you want to say something. Mr. Can you hear me, Mr. Jato? Can you hear me, Mr. Jato? Okay, please feel free to chime in anytime you like. Gentlemen, I'd like for us to, there is one of the riders here that says, NMDPRA begins payment of outstanding 100 billion naira subsidy to Ipman. So apparently, does it look like we are still paying subsidy on fuel?
No, it may not be necessarily that we are still paying, but this is backlog of money owed this set of people.
Okay.
And government is always not in a hurry to pay debts.
Okay.
And that's why our debt keeps rising.
But there was a certain 7.74 trillion naira that was consumed between June 2023.
I am not saying we have not,
September
you know, government has a way of rebranding what they seek to stop doing and then still continue to do.
The more things change, the more they remain the same.
They remain
I will
the same.
share a personal experience just to back what you have said and to tell you about the timing difference. When Okojo Iweala, then coordinating minister, and then I think, yes, he was coordinating
Minister of the Economy and the Minister of Finance.
Under Jonathan, and we, the oil majors, said a lot of money had been racked up. I'm saying this on national television, and she can verify. In fact, at one point in time, the woman just raised her hand that way. She had gone to meet Jonathan on one occasion that, hey, the way things are, if you don't pay these people, certain things are going to happen. And I just said, look, and she signed a paper for us that, yes, I acknowledge that trillions have been owed to you. Government, especially the incoming government, will find a way to begin to repay them. Buhari came in, and you know the first thing Buhari said, there was no subsidy and all that. So I agree with Dele. Yes, these are backlog.
No, he didn't say they are backlog. He said maybe. He wasn't very sure.
I know it's backlog. It's not money that is. It's not.
Okay, the 7.7 trillion, is it backlog too?
I believe.
June 2023 to September 2024? How could that be backlog? First subsidy was removed in June 2023.
Wait now.
May 29,
Wait.
2023.
May 29.
I said backlog. You are even supporting my position. Now, I think the cruise of your
No, you don't
your
get
point,
the point, Mr. Fatuke.
The cruise
You
of
were
your
told
point.
that first subsidy
The
was
cruise
removed
of
on
your
June.
point is.
In May, on the 29th of May.
Will I be right
2023.
to say the cruise of your point is that are we still paying subsidy?
That's the question.
That's the question. So hang
Okay.
on. I believe we are still paying subsidy.
Okay.
I believe we are paying subsidy. Because if you know what the plant, the landing cost, plus all the other things, the refineries are not working and not stuff, and yet your stations are wet. Somebody is paying subsidy. We know that for sure. Don't let us
Federal government says we are not paying subsidy in Nigeria.
They
said
renamed
it. They said we're not paying subsidy.
They renamed it.
Tinubu
Was
still
it
said we are not paying
shortfall?
They removed the shortfall.
So it depends on what you see. Propaganda or no propaganda, whitewashing or no whitewashing. Okay. It depends on what you want to look at, including what the whitewashing we are seeing in our politics.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Fatuke,
I believe
we
are still paying some amount of subsidy. When you raised it earlier,
Yeah.
I said I don't know the numbers.
Okay,
I don't know because so many things go on social media. There is a right set of people that should be able to give some of these things to us. Why are we not able to get the fact that
Mr. Fatuke, we've done half of our time on just one topic. But before we leave this topic,
but are you satisfied now that?
No. I don't need to be. I'm not the person concerned. We have viewers there.
No. You ask the question, and I
ask the question so that viewers can make a judgment.
Okay.
Now, before we leave this topic, we sank $1.5 billion to maintain refineries. Port Harcourt refinery, to be very specific. Now we understand that it's been shut down for 30 days for another set of maintenance. What's your quick reaction to?
Because if you have a parent feeding you, clothing you, housing you, and you know that out there is tough, would you want to do that parent? No. You see, NNPC is like a feeding bottle for top politicians. And they are not in a hurry to let go. And this administration, I don't think they have that gut to let go these politicians. Because these politicians have become so big, they are now behemoths that if you attempt without having solid backup to unseat them, it will be your undoing. Now, let's look at between this republic and now, what we have expended on this turnaround maintenance or upgrade, whatever they call it, on our 4 refineries. You will know that what Dangote claimed to have spent, which is $20 billion on his mega refinery, is child's play compared to what we have consistently nursed a baby that is destined to die.
So who are we going to blame for that? For this
Government.
particular- Who?
Government should be blamed. You should have that political will to say, look, I can't be somebody that is destined to die.
People
and
who are
you know
GMD,
that child will die. Why must we invest on that child, leaving the healthy ones?
And yet, we have someone who happens to be the Minister of Petroleum still there, standing, and no one is saying anything about it.
Look.
We have the group GMD also moving around. We have so many persons who we know
The
are in
group
public
GMD,
offices
the group
are still
GMD
just moving around.
have
So
been
I say
retired.
government should be held accountable. That's what you just said.
The good GMD, the group GMD, had just been retired and not sacked.
And most of
and
the
not
anomalies
probed.
happened during when it was there.
You see, let me tell you.
The group GMD has been retired,
Yes, eh?
and forensic audit is going to be instituted, especially with 1.5.
Do you remember what happened when he went to go and face the member of the Senate to talk about Nigerians' money, how our fund have been, and what we'll be using the money to do in that sector?
I'm talking about
we couldn't.
now.
It's becoming inconclusive up until today.
NPC is a behemoth of corruption.
Everybody
and
agrees to that.
And that corruption is deeply rooted and
Entrenched.
deeply seated.
No,
So,
okay.
Having said all that, my position, are we begin to take action, even if you think that they are baby step action? Yes, we are taking action. We are taking action and saying that, look, Edo made that pronouncement at the world stage that yes, we are going to clean the stable, and the whole stable has been cleaned, and we are now have a new pin now.
Which
Job-
table is that?
The
NPC
NPC board,
Okay.
yeah.
And the management. And Bola Tinubu has said, hopefully, I also want to believe that you are some of the best that we can find. We are talking about from now. But you are also saying that in times past, I also have disagreed vehemently from the president of Nigeria right from about 1999 being the minister for petroleum. And it keeps on continuing. It has to change. These are part of the structural changes that we have. Some attempts were made. You see, if you are going to look for structural changes in an NPC, look at a place where we also had a structural change in the CBN. Not long after some things were laid out, and then we started hearing strong voices from part of the country to say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that.
All right,
It
thank
is
you,
that
Mr.
political will that we must now,
Encourage this, our leadership.
we must,
Right.
we have to.
Okay.
We must.
All right, let's move on. Let's get on to another topic.
Okay,
North
yeah,
holds
okay.
key to solving Nigeria's problems, says Peter Obi. Let's take a quick peep into that. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, has declared that Northern Nigeria holds the key to solving the nation's deepest challenges, calling on leaders from the region to take bold steps towards driving national transformation. And Obi says clearly, Obi described the North not as a problem, but as Nigeria's greatest untapped asset.
Mr. Jato, is Mr. Jato still there?
Yeah, we are seeing he will join us.
And
He will
that
join us.
particular one, I think on the cover page of Vanguard, there's another writer to that, the same story now we're talking about, that says Nigeria's problems can be solved from North. That was what they use in
So he
the
says
page
not
of
as
This
a
is
problem,
politicians
Yeah.
but
trying
as
to
an untapped
romance.
asset.
This is politician trying to romance.
Okay.
He's trying to correct what he did in the last election.
Thank you.
That's what he's trying to do. And the Northerners, they are not people that easily give in to all these praises.
Okay, what happened during the last election?
He was not making enough overtures to the northern part. He was concentrating on the south.
His running mate was the Northerners for all we know.
I was going to all the time.
I know him very well. I visited him about 3 or 4 times when I was in Abuja Assembly of Leadership. He's on the fringe of the north.
Oh my God.
No, but no, the whole.
No, he said he had the vice president.
Yes, the vice presidential candidates from the north. Who also have made it easier to enter the north. We have Peter Obi visiting the north, visiting Kano State multiple times.
Do you know how many boreholes will be drilled in the north? In Kano State. There was this certain rice farmer that said, look, I'm the biggest rice farmer in Kano State. Obi supported me when he was governor. Okay, now at the personal level.
Yes.
So I'm surprised. What about Babachi Lawal? Babachi Lawal did a lot for Obi in Bauchi State.
You may be missing the point that he's making, and I raised that in my earlier segments. When a politician speaks, whether it is Peter Obi, whether it's Atiku, whether it's Bola Ahmed Tinubu, politicians will always talk like politicians. And I gave it to Peter Obi that Peter Obi has finally woken up.
Exactly.
He has finally woken up to the reality to smell the coffee. I am saying this not because I hate him, but because it's the truth. It's the truth that he knows himself. That people surrounding him are not prepared to tell him. What Dele was saying is that at his first coming, the concentration was not so much with the north. He tried. Listen. He tried. He went to Kwakwaso. Kwakwa said, look, you are second class. I can't be. Atiku clearly told him that he could not. He was not going to support him after he had followed Atiku through thick and thin. And then, what did we hear? Yes, he can do it alone. We keep on lying to ourselves. The way Nigeria is structured is that you just have to have that shake. Immediately after he lost the election, I repeat, lost the election, he now started retracing his steps. He started going to the north. Even within Anambra, he started recognizing the fact that he has to wear turban. The statement he had just made, to me, I commend him, that the problems of Nigeria can be resolved from the north. Everybody knows that even before he came into politics. I schooled in the north, and I know that all human capital indexes that you can find out that has dragged us back, my friends are in the north. We need to really resolve the cultural issues and the fact that it has to be the north, which we are not trying to resolve. He's not trying to do that. And I said earlier that statement in my mind is saying, I am prepared.
Like what Obi actually said. Sorry, Mr. Fatuke. What Obi actually said that, look, he's not looking at the north as a problem, but that the north has untapped assets that could be used to develop Nigeria. I'm sure he's saying the truth. Like, we used to say that Benue State alone can fill the whole of Middle Belt and
Chukuma.
You are playing with words.
Whatever Obi is saying is not new.
Is that not what we all know?
It is what the politicians parrot.
Okay.
Now, but the thing is, he also has to understand the cultural landmines in delving into it. One of the greatest undoing of Jonathan was to say he's establishing school for Amajiri.
Exactly. Jonathan was not the only person who did it. He wasn't the only person who did the establishment of schools in the north for Almanjaris. We have the former governor of Imo State.
He didn't do it.
We have the former governor of Imo State. He started that even before he became the governor of Imo State.
Did he do it
or not?
We have schools in the north for
Almanjaris. That was not enough.
That was not enough.
That was not enough reason.
I said
that was not enough
part of the reason. I didn't say
you are looking at the cultural undercurrents.
You understand? Yes. Now to Jonathan, because he also had Western education to the point that he had PhD. He has PhD. He feels that the only way to liberate the average youth in the north is to educate them. But the people that had held them down in centuries, they don't want that. What happened to those schools, Amajiri schools?
They're still functioning. They are still functional.
They are not functioning.
They are still functional.
Look,
I
when last did you visit
I
the
can
north?
tell. No, you don't see that. I was there.
I said, when last
My
did you
people are
visit
still
the
there.
north?
My people
when
are
last
still
did you
there.
visit the same
And
north
as
that
a
you
case
are
may
talking
be,
I went to Abuja.
no, let me tell you. Something. Behind my house is a wonderful space.
Then why do you have the IDP? Why do you have out of school
Out of
children?
school. It's because of insecurity. Is it security that made
even
us to
before
have
insecurity, there was no
IDPs
out
in
of school
Nigeria?
children.
IDPs that we have in Nigeria
That's
was caused by
why-
insecurity.
exactly.
You're talking about IDPs.
Okay,
It was because by
hold on,
insecurity in
gentlemen,
Nigeria.
Hold on, gentlemen.
It's the security that caused
Let's
IDPs.
moderate this. The argument is this. What the lady is saying that, look, if Peter Obi is trying to more like reinvent the North by telling him, he should also be careful because that Jonathan tried it.
Undercurrents.
That Jonathan tried it.
Yes.
When he tried to build Amaduri schools, the powers, the feudal powers, the oligarchy became uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Because
Is that the only thing?
Because they
Sorry,
knew
Mr.
that they would
Fatuke,
become
sorry.
general without
Apart from
the fact that you can jump in
Jonathan
doesn't
was
mean that you have
stopped
to
on his
interject
tracks
when another person is
by
is
powers
talking.
that be in this country,
I'm sorry, Mr.
which is the North.
Mr. Fatuke,
when
I would like for
an
you to
Igbo-
moderate yourself, sir. Moderate yourself.
But
The fact that you can cut in doesn't mean that you interject at will.
no, I'm not interjecting.
No, that is what I'm saying. Hold on, and you are still talking.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Please.
okay. When you finish, so please, you are the
So what the
you are the
is
gatekeeper.
actually,
When
I
you finish,
understand
then
all of that.
allow us
Mr.
the
you are
analysts
still
to come
making
in.
the same mistake. Please,
No,
hold
when
on.
you finish,
I'm the
let us
moderator.
know.
When the moderator says, okay, please understand where he's
okay.
driving at.
I'll wait for you until you say okay.
Okay. Now, the finance argument is that those schools were built, right?
Who built them?
Jonathan. Was he the first person that started
No,
building
he
those
wasn't.
schools?
I
He
would
wasn't
have said
the
that.
first
He
person.
wasn't.
That's what Fina is saying.
Other persons built schools in Kano State, as the case may be, and Kano is a core north. And we have other northern states also that have schools also being built there. Free education, as the case may be, from the school uniform to books. And these people actually are being given access
Lay
to
your
school and all
premise.
that, you know.
I don't have
So
any
it happens.
premise.
Okay,
What premise am I laying?
so can I come in now? I am saying, I school in the North. So irrespective of all this color coding that we are putting, even the Northerners know a lot of these things. You said he built Almajiri schools. Those schools, at the end of the day, you had Bromwits all over, were taking over. You know that. And then you smartly was now coming and said, insecurity.
You asked about what led to the issue of having IDPs in Nigeria, and I told you that insecurity was what happened that made us to have IDPs in Nigeria.
The reason of IDP.
When you say IDP has even explained it. That it was as a result of
insecurity. That's why we have IDPs in Nigeria. So he was talking about IDPs.
Okay, all right.
Let's
Sorry,
talk about
we'll go for a
IDPs,
short break.
You are shutting me out
about
now.
IPOB
You are
insist on
shutting me out now because you don't want to hear me. Okay, go ahead.
Let's go for a short break, please. When we
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People Television. Reminiscence, Legacies.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now let's get into another topic. IPOB insists on May 30 sit at home. Says day of celebration of Igbo Day. During the morning show, we said something about IPOB said, look, Okay, Igbo elders say 30th May, the day that Biafra declared independence in 1967, IPOB says, let's celebrate that day as Biafra Day. Elders said, no, it should be Igbo Day. So there is this argument between IPOB and the elders, about what is the right nomenclature. Should it be Biafra Day or should it be Igbo Day? And IPOB is insisting that it must be Biafra Day. So what's your reaction to?
My reaction to this is very simple.
Okay.
You see, if we concede to the Biafra Day, it's like we are resuscitating combative agitation through that particular day. But you still achieve the same effect, the same narrative if you say Igbo Day. Government cannot be comfortable if you are saying you are celebrating Biafra Day. Already you have put government on its toes, given the antecedents of the agitators for Biafra. Just like when Odua Republic, Odua Congress, People's Congress, OPC, when they were here and rooted in the Southwest, no president or governor would hear OPC Day or Odua Republic Day and will be comfortable in the government house on that day because it can snowball into something unexpected. And I don't want a situation, we are getting to a point that we are achieving success in bits. Now they said political solution cannot free Kanu. Now we are having accelerated hearing. In the next couple of weeks, we will get judgment on that case, and then we'll move forward. And now we want Biafra Day. I would prefer we talk Igbo Day.
But that
hold on.
Okay.
You see, I am saying my mind
as
a Nigerian, and if it comes to OPC, it's the same thing I will say.
But in this particular one now, some persons will say, no, we are not doing it that way. No, Mr. We are not doing
listen.
You know what?
On this program.
At this point in time. I'm
hold
cutting
it.
No, I'm not holding it. I'm cutting it. No, I'm not holding it.
You are not the one moderating this program.
I am the moderator of the show.
You said you are the one that's
No, I am the moderator of the show.
And then you are moderating.
Please.
It's a free for all here.
Please.
It's my show.
When you finish, let us know when we can come.
That's why we're not doing a question and answer session on this particular show. Is it newspaper?
But he was making a point, and you interjected him. So let him.
You took it from my mouth.
We're pressed for time, as a case may be. Now, if you wake up and say want to limit this to Igbo Day, as a case may be, some persons have also come up with the argument to say that it cannot be an Igbo Day celebration because the Biafran war that was fought in Nigeria, history having that a whole lot of other persons also joined this war. We have non-Igbo speaking persons participating in the war. For example, someone said earlier in the morning that the second in command during Ojukwu during the time of the war was an Akwa Ibom man. He wasn't an Igbo man, as the case may be. So when you say we are making it Igbo Day celebration on the 30th of May, it's more like disenfranchising the persons who also lost their loved ones in the cold hands of this particular war, to say that they are no longer, maybe they don't really, their effort during the war is not being recognized, which is not really a good thing. So if we're saying we're having a Biafran Day celebration, which actually happens after the Biafran War, to recognize heroes who lost their life in both ends, from Nigeria and also, the Biafrans, then we shouldn't wake up to make it an Igbo thing. We shouldn't streamline it and make it just an Igbo thing. People from Benue State join in this war. Port Harcourt, River State, for example, they have people also that died during this war. We have Nigerians also lost their lives during this war. So why take away what history have already stated?
I'm sure you are even blotting a Yoruba man that was prominent in that war.
Why take out all those other people?
Banjo, yes.
Why take out them and make it just an Igbo thing?
Okay.
So
can I come in now?
Mr. Aki, say something.
All right.
You want to say something.
No, I want to say something. That's why you invited me here. My challenge, and I mentioned it from the front, is that when we want to now begin to rewrite history, rewrite history because we want to satisfy a tendency, which is exactly what I am seeing here. Emma, the spokesperson for IPOB, recognize what you have said. He said, yes, because it's coming from people not necessarily of Igbo extraction, but from elsewhere, including Yorubas. Wole Soyinka left the comfort of where he was and risked his life to go into the hinterland to say, no, this should not happen. But the real origin of the whole of that started in 1966. In 1966, we had a 1966 before we had the Nigerian Biafran War, but Nigeria called it Nigeria Civil War. And I said, what Ojukwu did after the Aburi Convention, signed in paper, well, I don't know whether I signed, but I agreed, was on Aburi we stand. And he declared a secession. We are still fighting that angle up till tomorrow. Then why do we have the National Heroes Day, Nigeria Armed Forces Heroes Day that we do on January 15th? Does that not include people who died on Biafra side, if you call it Biafra, people who died from, from the southeast, from the southwest, and stuff like that? You begin to create an avenue whereby I don't have a problem. If the bulk of the Igbo nation, people say, yes, we recognize that, there is a plebiscite that can go on. Go ahead, do your plebiscite, tell us what areas, the Biafra, is it Biafra of old or Biafra of new and all that, before you can then begin to talk of Biafra Day, Biafra currency, Biafra language and all that. That basically is mine. Now, there is a growing tension and distrust in Nigeria. There is a growing tension and distrust in Nigeria between the southeast and the north, the southeast and the southwest, the mid central, that again is dovetailing into this leadership question. We can now get a great human being from the southeast, but will he be trusted? And vice versa. These things don't help. These things don't help reconciliation. Why are we like they said, okay, why are we trying to now wake up something that ordinarily
on the notion of reconciliation?
I'm not sure it's about waking up something that is
okay. All right.
People have said that look, the Biafran spirit is something that can never be wished away.
It can be wished away.
Even if they also agree that it might be very difficult, to get the Biafra off a state, but that spirit will never die. I mean, we still celebrate the Holocaust Day.
You are very right.
We still celebrate the Holocaust Day. South Africans still celebrate the Van Riebeck Day, that the day he made the landing.
It's also a fact of history
and all of
that the Northerners will never ever forget what happened to the Premier of the East, of the North, and the Prime Minister of the North. Okay. They will never forget it.
They will never forget. The Igbos will also never forget the fact that a certain president, Babangida, has also come out to say, look, that coup was clearly not an Igbo coup. That people from the southwest, from the southeast, from the middle belt, from the north were part of it.
Yes. Okay.
He mentioned names.
Okay.
So whoever wants to forget can forget. Whoever wants to remember can remember.
And on the reconciliation note too, cut across the 36 states in Nigeria.
You are
right.
Even before Babangida, a lot of people have also said that.
A set of army officers kill people from the north, kill people from the south, and didn't kill anybody from the south.
A set of people who are the set of people that killed those people.
I hear you.
Were there no Yorubas in that group that killed people?
And that was not even led to the
problem in the east
west-west that we're talking about.
Continue.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. This is where we wrap up.
That is history playing out. We have it
this is where we wrap up this news.
Thank you very much.
Big thanks to you, Mr. Dele Fanimo, for being part of this. Thank you, Mr. Akifatuke.
Always a pleasure. And anytime you have argument like this with me, you are going to give me lunch.
It's not an argument. We're here just to educate and entertain and also inform the people.
He's going to give me lunch.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of today's newspaper review. Up next on the radar, Voice of the People Television, is the Sports Republic with Kizito Ijoma Kizake, the only player without a jersey. Do well to stay and watch the Sports Republic show. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.